Hey y'all, we back again. This is the part 2 of the mini story time that I said in the first video. So if you haven't watched the first one, watch the first one first, then watch this one. Anyway, so this is another story that happened that same Wednesday, the same day. Whew, girl, I don't know, they was trying me that day. Like, it was, even my manager was just like, today is not your day. I was like, I guess not, because they coming for me. They coming for you, girl. You better get them. Okay. So then, so I had this guy. This is later on in the day. And so there was this guy and his son. He walked up to my lane. I was in a speedy checkout this time. And so he had a couple items. So we got to this Nightmare Before Christmas Halloween decoration. And he goes, oh, before you bring that up, I took a picture of the sign that was under, and it said it was $2.98. But when we went over to the scanner, it said it was $20. So I'm like, okay, well, let me item inquiry it. Let me see how much it is. And it's bring up, I told him, I said, oh, it's $19.97. And he goes, yeah, but it said $2.98 underneath the sign. You saw the picture, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just like, okay, well, I said, well, because that's too big of a price difference, I'm going to need my manager. To change the price. And so then it's like, as soon as I said that, and I told him, and I was like, it's going to be a few minutes, he got an instant attitude. Like, he went from being like kind of nice to being like just straight up just upset. And he just goes, okay, well, do what you need to do. Call your manager. So I'm like, okay. Like, I'm kind of like, okay, like what he get an attitude for? Because I said, you got to wait for a manager. I mean, you the one that said it was $2.98, and we looking at the picture. Yes, it did say $2.98, but that's too big of a difference from $2.98 to $19.97. That's too big of a difference. So I'm gonna need a manager either way. It's not gonna allow me to change the price, Anyway, and so then after I told him that, he was just like, man, I remember when this store used to be nicer. We went over to the apparel section, and we asked the lady for help, and she got an attitude and told us no. And then he was like, isn't that right, son? And then his son's just like, yeah. And he goes, now you see why I don't come here anymore? And then his son's like, yeah. And so then I'm like, okay. And I tell him, I'm like, well, I am helping you. I'm trying to get you assistance. I said it's just going to be a few minutes for the manager. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm not talking about you, but I remember when this store, before it became, before it became what it is now, it used to be better, and they used to be on it with helping their customers. And I'm just like, I'm looking at him like, okay, like, you the only one that got a problem. And so then he was like, and I used to work at this company. And I'm just like, okay, well, and then I said to him, I'm like, well, then you should know how it is, right? He goes, no, actually, I don't. I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, at this point, I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. So I'm just hoping a manager comes by, because this dude is he's just doing too much. Like, you need to calm down. Like, it's not even that freaking serious. So finally a manager comes. It took maybe not even, I think it was like 5 minutes, which is, a record for them, but neither here nor there. So then, the manager comes up, and so then he's explaining the situation to my manager, and so then, at this point in time, he was just like, oh yeah, and she said that she would need you to come down here, and like saying it, like I said it maliciously, and I'm like, and I have this smile on my face, I had to keep a smile on my face to keep from frowning or to keep from getting an attitude. So then basically he talks to my manager, and he's just going, we already had a bad experience with the lady that was in apparel, and then we come up into her lane, and she doesn't have the greatest attitude either. And, and at this point, I'm just looking like, I don't have the greatest attitude. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you literally got an attitude because I told you it was going to be a few minutes to go get a dang old manager. Tried. And so then, and then he looks at me and he goes, oh yeah, that's another thing. Before my manager even got there, he said something along the lines of, oh, I'm gonna talk to the store manager about this. Oh, what's your name? He looked at my name tag. And I corrected him because he said it wrong, and I corrected him on how to say my name, because if you're gonna report me, talk about me bad to a manager, guess what? You're gonna say my name right. You're gonna say a name that's not me. So I was like, I wasn't worried. I'm like, because I know I didn't do anything. I didn't have an attitude. I was smiling the entire time. So how do I have an attitude if I'm smiling at you? And that's another thing he said. He was like, oh, and you know, you're smiling, but it doesn't seem genuine, and it kind of looks like a part of me, but a F you. And so I looked at him and I said, "Hen, that's your opinion." And he goes, "Yeah, it is." And then my manager's just like, "Cut it out, like cut it out, stop." And you know, because I was just like, at this point, it's like usually I don't really talk about it like that, but I will let you know what's up, because some people think, oh, because you're customer service, you're not gonna say anything. Yes, I say things back all the time. Now, I mean, because you're not going to just sit there and talk trash and think, oh, I'm just going to let it fly under the rug. Like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this goes. Okay. And so then my manager's like, oh, well, do you want to speak to the store manager? He goes, yes, actually, I would. He goes, because this is getting ridiculous. Every time we come here, it's not a good experience. Then why do you keep coming here? If I go into a store and it's not a good experience for me, guess what? I ain't coming back. You ain't gonna see me again. You're not gonna get my money. You're not gonna get my time. So I don't understand what the appeal is to keep coming back to a store that you don't have a good experience in. Just riddle me that. I don't get it, because I can't relate. You know, and so then he waits over to the side. He goes, oh, I'm gonna wait. So he goes over to the side, wait, okay, wait. And you know, I'm still checking out people. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Hey y'all, what's up? And you know, people behind was looking like, wow, he's pretty pressed. You know, and they looking like they're like, you know, you had a smile on your face. You weren't in the wrong. I said, no, I wasn't. So of course, you know, the assistant manager comes up. You know, she's not even the store manager. She's the assistant manager. She comes up, and you know, and apparently, you know, she goes over to him, gets his side of the story, and then next thing you know, she's like, oh, can I get you to get off the register so I can talk to you in the back? She already told me, she's like, you're not in trouble, but you know, I just want to hear your side of the story. So we go to the back room with me and the manager, and also the manager that came over and helped me. You know, I explained my side of the story, and I tell her, and she was just like, what? And the assistant manager goes, well, did you tell him that it was going to be 5 to 10 minutes? I'm like, no, I said a few minutes. I said, because I don't know how long it's going to take for you guys to come down here. So that's why I said a few minutes. And so basically he lied and said that I said it was going to be 5 to 10 minutes. Obviously you can't freaking hear, because I didn't say 5 to 10. A few and 5 to 10 does not sound the same, you dummy. And so then the manager goes, okay, well, the thing is, when I walk up to the register and, you know, there's something going on with you and the customer, when I come there, just stop. Just don't even say anything. You know, bite your tongue. Like, you walk away if you have to. But please, that doesn't look good. If you're sitting back there arguing with the customer, when we come up, that's when we take over, and you just leave it alone. Like, don't even say anything. And I said, yeah, I know. And, you know, assistant manager was just like, yes. She goes, that's the only thing we have to say about it. It's just, you know, make sure, you know, you just hold your tongue, you know, or just walk away. Just, you know, if you don't even want to be in the same situation, you know, just, you know, you don't want that to, you don't want to add fuel to the fire, basically, you know, by saying stuff back to them, or, you know, because she said, she's like, and you also, you know, you could have been smiling sarcastically, you know. And I was telling her, I said, well, I was smiling to keep from, you know, getting upset and angry. And she goes, yes, I understand. She goes, you could have been smiling sarcastically and not even realized it. And I said, yeah. I was like, you probably, you know, okay. You know, so I didn't get in trouble for it. And like, the guy was just like, and she's probably not going to get in trouble for it. Yeah, you right. I didn't get in trouble for it. Okay. And what? So bye. Hope I never see you again. If you ever see me, don't come to me. Like, I don't understand with these people. Don't come to my lane. Leave me alone.